Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. Just a quick video from myself summarising the game tonight, namely Arsenal versus Inter Milan. How could I have got that so wrong? Inter Milan versus Arsenal at the San Siro, match day 4 of Arsenal's Champions League campaign. The game ended Inter Milan 1, Arsenal 0. Quick team news before the game saw that we had a couple of players back tonight. Jurrien Timber was in. Who else did we have? Actually, there wasn't many changes from the previous game. I'll just read out the team. Raya in goal. Ben White, he was coming back at right back. William Saliba, centre back. Gabriel, left centre back. Timber, left back. Saka, Mourinho, Partey, Martinelli, and Trossard and Havertz up front. We still wasn't playing a recognised striker in a recognised striker's role, which is a little bit disappointing. As to the game itself, the game got off to a decent start for Arsenal, although Denzel Dumfries did hit the bar for Inter Milan. In fact, I think Inter Milan did shade the early part of the game, if I'm being honest. Yeah, let's give them that. They shaded the early part of the game. But Arsenal got to grips with that, and they actually started, I wouldn't say take control, but they looked quite comfortable. And towards the end of the first half, they were looking okay, actually. They upped their levels from the woeful performance against Newcastle, and they looked to be finishing the first half a bit stronger. However, in the 45th minute, there was a game-changing incident. Penalty conceded by Mikel Merino, cross into the box. And I think one of the Milan players took a shot. Mourinho was adjudged to have had his hand in an unnatural position. I must say, I thought the penalty was very harsh. And I think it was Kanoglu scored. I think he's a bit of a wizard in taking penalties. I think it's his 19th penalty and all 19 have been scored. So Arsenal actually went in to at the end of the first half a goal down. A little bit unfortunate, I thought, because like I said, I thought the penalty was harsh, although I have seen them given. And Arsenal could have had a penalty themselves in that game, to be honest, because I think Mikel Merino could have been adjudged to have been fouled by Jan Sommer, the Milan keeper, who charged into him and just took him out. He might have taken a bit of the ball, but I've seen those given also. So it was a little bit unfortunate for Arsenal. At half-time, the manager did make a substitution, which is unusual for Mikel Arteta. The change he made was Gabby Jesus came on for Mikel Merino. And I think that was a tactical switch rather than any injury. I think it was Gabby Jesus' 50th Champions League appearance. And he does actually, to be fair to Mikel Arteta, have a much better record in the Champions League than he does in the Premier League in terms of his goal scoring. I think he's like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. So yeah, I could understand that. I was a little bit disappointed though that there weren't more substitutions, because if you think about it, Arsenal are a goal down. They're looking to try and get back in the game. I'd have thought there would have been more subs. He didn't actually make another sub until the 80th minute. But anyway, that was that. We know that Mikel Arteta is not the most proactive of managers when it comes to making subs. Anyway, in terms of how the second half went, Arsenal had a lot more of the ball than Inter Milan. Now, whether that was by Arsenal dominating the game or whether it was by design, Milan saying, look, you have the ball and try and break us down, I suspect it could have been towards the latter, although Arsenal, we had a lot of the ball. However, some of the same criticisms of recent weeks were in evidence today. Whilst we had a lot of the ball, I think in the end we had something like 67% possession to their 30-odd. We couldn't make it count. We were quite predictable, I've got to say. It was the usual thing. We get the ball, we place it out to the flanks, we put the cross in, and invariably one of the Milan guys headed it away or whatever, or they managed to engineer us not getting any shots on goal in order to trouble the keeper. So a little bit predictable, which was a bit disappointing. Still a few players in the Arsenal team not on their best form. Namely Havertz, namely Trossard in particular, namely Martinelli as well. As I said earlier, I was a bit surprised that the manager didn't say bring on Sterling. Now we know that Sterling's on loan from Chelsea, so he won't feature in the game at the weekend against Chelsea. So I was a little bit surprised he never came on. I was a little bit surprised that Wanyeri didn't come on quicker, and I was also a little bit surprised that given that Martin Odegaard travelled and we was all excited that he was back in the squad, I would have thought that he would have got a few more minutes than the 5 or 6 that he got today. I think he might have been 8 with extra time. But anyway. So, yeah, it was one of those games where we had a lot of possession, a lot of the ball, put a lot of crosses in the box, something like 46 crosses we put into the Milan box today without any return. So that was quite disappointing. And the game kind of meandered to another 1-0 defeat. Arsenal's second 1-0 defeat. Of course, we lost to Newcastle at the weekend as well. So with that loss, it basically leaves Arsenal 12th in the Champions League table. You will know, those of you who've been following the Champions League, that there's a new format. And Arsenal need to finish in the top 8 of that table in order to go straight through into the knockout stages. Or if they finish anywhere from 9th to 25th, I think they go into some kind of draw where they have to play other teams and play off for those last 16 positions. So wasn't the best night for Arsenal, but overall it was an improvement on the performance at the weekend. I think that's the best I can say for today. Some people are saying that we were unlucky, we deserved a draw. You could argue that, but you could equally say that we looked a bit stunted in attack. Like I said before, we looked a bit predictable. Some people have suggested that we never really looked like scoring, and I can see that as well. So it's one of them, really. As a confidence booster for Chelsea, again, I'm not really sure what to make of it, to be honest, because it was a better performance. Certainly defensively, we looked quite strong. We didn't really look too threatened in the second half. But going forward and in midfield, there's still questions, especially up top. We do look like we're lacking goals. Indeed, we've not scored in the past couple of games, and it is a bit of a concern. Can we get it right for Sunday is what, of course, everyone now will be focusing on. And that is a big question for the manager, who got booked as well, by the way, today. I don't know what he was doing handling the ball before it went out of play, but maybe that's a sign or an indication of his frustrations at the moment, because, he's got a lot to think about in terms of personnel in what we play against Chelsea on Sunday. Does he make any radical changes? A lot of people are now saying that Nwaneri must start, but we've heard that before. Will he do that against Chelsea in such a big game? But certainly things have got to change. He's got to shake it up a little bit. One thing I did notice that I have been critical about Arsenal teams in the past, and I'm going to mention this, is that it was late into the game, very late into the game, when Ethan Nwaneri came on as a sub late in the game. He dipped a shoulder, went past the defender, and I think he was the only Arsenal player I saw tonight take a shot from outside the box. Now, we all know when you're facing a team that has a low block like what Milan did in that second half, you've got to vary things up a bit. The crosses into the box will work up to a point, but if that is no longer working, you need to try other things. And one of the things that teams should try is to try and shoot outside the box, maneuver yourself into a good position and chance your luck with the shooting. We tend not to do that, and that's very disappointing. The other thing that was slightly off today was the set pieces. I think we had something like double digits in corners. Now, normally, or in recent months, you would expect Arsenal to get something from set pieces, but today never really came close. So the top end of the pitch for Arsenal is definitely becoming a concern. We're not scoring anywhere near enough goals. And as I said, we've got a few players in the team that are glaringly off form. Havertz now is entering into that realm. We spoke about Trossard, we spoke about Martinelli. Even Saka not scored now for a few weeks. So, listen, we've got to get things right for Sunday against Chelsea, because that is now a massive, massive game. Last week, we kind of got out of jail a little bit because City also lost. But Liverpool are flying at the moment. We're seemingly falling behind. We've got to correct that this week. Can we do so on the evidence of what I saw tonight? I think we can, because Chelsea do blow hot and cold. We've got a good record against Chelsea in recent years at their place. So I'm optimistic, although not wholly confident. But I do think some changes need to be made. I'd like to see Nwaneri get a start, or if he doesn't start, getting some what I call meaningful minutes, not bringing him on with 5-6 minutes to go. No. If you start with Trossard or whoever it is, whoever attacking midfielder, whatever the case might be, if it's not working, make the change at half-time or certainly very soon into the second half. Do not wait until the latter stages of the game to make changes. Let's be proactive with the changes. Let's try and get the team on the front foot. Let's try and quicken the tempo. Be a bit brave. You know what I mean? Get the wing backs and the wingers to take their opposition footballers on. Get the crosses in the box. Try shots from outside the box. Just vary it a little bit and see how we go. I think if we do that, if we change the tactics, we up the tempo, be a little bit more brave, I think we can get something out of the game against Chelsea. But just to go back to tonight, a 1-0 loss. Disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. I think we dropped to 12th in the Champions League table, but there's still many, many games to go. I think of more pressing concern is the fact that we're not scoring goals at the moment. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching and supporting LL Sports TV. If it's your first time here, please like, share and subscribe. Watch out for more content on this channel. We do football, we do boxing. We've also got a really good show on Mondays with my brother Robbie. We call it Keeping It in the Family. I hope you like that. The first episode went out on Monday and it's received some good reviews. So check that out if you haven't done already. And I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Take care.